When Dee Caffari agreed to produce a video diary of her exploits in the shorthanded scene this season, I was absolutely delighted. For starters, she's a great communicator, and of course she is one of the most accomplished solo offshore sailors in the world. So what better a combination? In this feature, Dee talks us through the recent Myth of Malham race, the Royal Ocean Racing Club race, which is also the second event in the UK double-handed offshore series. 127 boats were entered into this race, which is one of the classic Royal Ocean Racing Club offshore events, but 38 of those boats were being raced double-handed, which is impressive in itself. But before talking us through her race, Dee explains some of the equipment that they have to take when they head offshore.
So it's the end of May, bank holiday weekend. The sun has started to shine, which is fabulous. But as a result, the forecast is for very light winds. And we have the Myth of Malham RORC race, which is the second event in the UK double-handed series. And the good ship Gentoo, myself and James will be taking part along with 39 other double-handed entries, which is just a phenomenal competitive fleet, and we're super excited. But I wanted to show you the amount of gear we have to carry to do these offshore races. If I work my way along the list, here we have our storm sails, trysail and storm jib. Here is my favourite bag. This is the food bag, and we've got a jet boil with a gas bottle and a spare gas bottle, and we've got our water bladders, because I obviously won't let James carry any plastic water bottles, so we have water bladders of 9 litres each, and of course our emergency water that we have to carry, our drink bottles to drink from, and spoon, toothpaste, very important, one of the 2 anchors we have to carry on board, and let's not forget some toilet paper. We have our offshore bag, which has our flare pack in, a foghorn, a searchlight, an EPIRB. We kind of just group it all together. Our spare life jacket, exciting things in there. We have life jacket that we need to wear as soon as the sun sets until sunrise, or if we reef, or if it's above 25 knots, or if it's foggy, or if we just want to, because we feel happier that way. And our tethers that go with it. Our tethers, of course, which hook onto our jack lines that we need to put back on. We take them off so they don't get degraded. Rescue sling, throw bag, fire blanket, drogue for the horseshoe, sail repair kit, and some fuel. And it's a Cat 3 race with a life raft required and provisions. Welcome to the Myth of Malham. There is actually the AP flag flying because that really big ship is coming in through the start area. So once he's gone, we'll be on our way. And there are 127 boats on this start line. There's cows on the squadron. If we just come around the other side, you can see all the boats getting ready. We're going west out the Solent. It's a downwind, down tide start, so best not get that wrong. So we started the Myth of Malham 30 minutes after the original start time, and just over my shoulder there is Aries, that's Stuart and Kelvin, and just over my other shoulder there is Henry and Shirley, all the usual suspects together. And I'm sure at 230 miles, hopefully we'll all still be together. We've got class 4 on the green, and then class 2 have just started, and then class 1 about to go as well. It's exciting times. we can see the needles. We're in max flow of tide, and as you can see from everyone's spinnakers, not a lot of wind. So we came out the Solent to upwind pressure, bit of a surprise. Kite went down, good transition, and we've got a couple of hours of this, and then it looks to get funky for a few hours, and then we'll be back on the kite again. So we're just trying to go fast in relatively the right direction while we can. We've got quite a lot of the fleet over there behind me. Here the big boys, but they're a bit faster, so their routing is slightly different. So this is the transition we expected. There is not a lot of wind, and we're just on the final hour of tide. It's all a bit horrible. Forecast says the weeds will fill in a couple of hours and be back on a spinnaker. We thought it was a really good time for dinner, and I am having beef stew. Yummy. So just approaching sunset, and life jackets are on, and I've just put on some layers because I'm going to be driving in a little bit. It's still light airs, but we're moving. Tide's turned against us, but hopefully it'll fill in a little bit more, keep us heading towards Eddystone. So it's Sunday morning, sun rose at about 4:20, it was very pretty, and I am loving this temperature. I was super cold last night, and I'm now starting to thaw out. We are just about 6 miles from Eddystone, where we round it to port and then start our long upwind home. At the moment we've got about 17-18 knots of wind. That'll stay till late morning, and then it'll start to decrease, and we'll probably be finishing around midnight, early hours of Monday in pretty light winds. So few sail changes ahead. Well, we knew it was upwind on the way back from Eddystone, and we knew there was going to be a bit of breeze, but this is positively miserable. Oh dear, we've had 18 to 20 knots, it's decreasing a little now, and the tide's about to turn, which means it'll be wind with tide, both against us, but it will hopefully make it a little bit flatter. I really need to pee, but I just can't take all my layers off, and it's so wet outside. I'm going to have to wait. So just over my shoulder is a big car carrier, and he's my new friend. He just called me on the VHF to check that we weren't going to collide with him. He's pretty big, quite difficult to miss, but interesting, he's going even slower than we are. We've been left with a very messy sea state, and the wind is dropping, and it's threatening to really die off this evening, but we've got a few hours until the tide turns at Portland Bill, which will hopefully take us past that headland of Anvil Ledge and then got to get to the finish mark. So it is Monday morning, sunrise has taken place, and here we are approaching our finish at North Head. That's us, and that's Bellino just ahead of us to leeward, and we've got a French boat axe sail, and then Black Sheep and Aries and Swell with us. So all the usual suspects started in close proximity and we're finishing in close proximity. There's just 6 miles to run now, which feels like a very long way. There's Bellino, Black Sheep, Axel, and Aries and Swell are just behind us. Good morning, James. Ooh, done and dusted. We finished literally just behind Bellino, but on the water ahead of our friends on Aries and Swell, which was really nice. There were so many boats in the race, I have no idea where we finished amongst everyone. But it's bank holiday Monday morning, the sun is up and it's starting to feel warm, thankfully, and we finished the race just before 6 a.m. So now it's back to base, clean and tidy up, go home and shower and have bank holiday Monday.
But while they might not have known how they'd fared as they crossed the line, when the results were published, it was clear. They'd won. Nice work. Now, if you're thinking, wait a minute, they did another race before the Myth of Malham, you'd be absolutely right. But to be honest, we got a little bit distracted over the last couple of weeks, so we decided to run this feature, but we will still be going back and taking a look at that previous race. So keep an eye out for that one. In the meantime, stay safe until next time.